What was the most unfair punishment you received when you were a child? My parents let my sister decide if my pain was serious enough to go to the doctor. I was lying on the kitchen floor with my arm bent at an angle that no arm should ever be, when my older sister Olivia walked in and said I was faking it to get attention. My mother dropped the ice pack she was about to get and looked at Olivia with enormous relief on her face. Are you sure, sweetheart? It looks really bad. Oh, Olivia barely glanced at me before picking up her phone and scrolling through the screen. She does this every time I have something important. My college acceptance party starts in 3 hours. She probably twisted it on purpose. The pain shooting up my forearm made me dizzy, but I knew there was no point in arguing. The rule had existed since I was 9 years old, after I supposedly ruined her 13th birthday with what she called a fake seizure at the party. It had not been fake. The hospital confirmed it was a severe allergic reaction to something in the cake, but Olivia convinced my parents that I knew about the allergen and ate it anyway to steal her attention. After that, every pain or illness needed my older sister's approval before I could go to the doctor. My dad came from the garage and saw me on the floor with my arm visibly broken, the bone making a horrible bulge under the skin that made me nauseous just looking at it. Olivia, what is your assessment? He asked with the same cold tone he used for work decisions. My sister finally took her eyes off her phone and came to look at my arm from about 3 meters away. She crouched down but did not even touch it. She just tilted her head and made a thoughtful sound. It is probably just a bad sprain. She is exaggerating because Taylor is coming to my party today, and she has that silly crush on him. My face burned with shame because the crush was true, but that had nothing to do with it. I had fallen off my bicycle trying to avoid Mrs. Peyton's dog that ran into the street. The fall was hard and fast. I heard the snap when my arm hit the asphalt. Olivia, please. My voice came out weaker than I wanted. I felt myself trembling. I really need to go to the hospital. My mother exchanged a look with my father, and I saw that calculation happening in their heads. Taking me to the emergency room meant losing setup time for Olivia's party. It meant questions from staff about why they took so long. It meant Olivia getting angry with the attention turning to me. Let us just bandage it and see how you wake up tomorrow. My mother had already decided while getting the first aid kit from the cabinet. If Olivia is right, and it is just a sprain, we will have wasted 4 hours in the ER for nothing. My father nodded in agreement, and the two of them started gathering things while I stayed there on the cold tile floor with my arm throbbing in waves that made black dots dance in my vision. Olivia went back to her phone as if the matter were closed. She threw over her shoulder as she left the kitchen. Make her stay in her room during the party. I do not want her limping around begging for pity. They bandaged my arm so tight that within 10 minutes I could not feel my fingers anymore. Then they sent me upstairs with 2 ibuprofens and orders to rest. I could hear them setting up the party downstairs, hanging decorations and organizing food, while I sat on the bed looking at my arm that was already purple and swelling so much that the bandage was cutting into my skin. My phone buzzed with a message from my best friend Kira, asking if I was going to the party because my parents had invited half the neighborhood. I replied with my left hand that I could not. Fell off my bike, arm hurting. She responded immediately, asking if I had gone to the hospital. When I said no, she called me right away. What do you mean you did not go to the hospital? Your arm is broken, right? Her voice was worried, and I could hear car noise in the background, which meant she was already in her mom's car. Olivia said it is just a sprain, and my parents believed her. I have to wait until tomorrow to see how it goes. Just saying it out loud already sounded crazy, but that was how it worked at my house. Kira had known me since 3rd grade and knew about the rule. She had seen it happen several times. There was a long silence where I could hear her breathing and talking quietly with her mom. We are picking you up now. My mom said you need an x-ray right away. This is not normal parent behavior. This is medical neglect. I wanted to say that my parents would be furious if I left, that Olivia would make my life even worse than it already was. But the pain was unbearable, and I was scared of how my arm was looking. The party starts in an hour. Everyone will see you taking me. Olivia will freak out. Kira's voice got firmer. I do not care about Olivia's party. You could have a compound fracture or nerve damage. We will be there in 2 minutes. She hung up before I could complain more, and I just sat there feeling a horrible mixture of relief and dread about what would happen when my parents found out. I managed to put a sweatshirt over my bandaged arm, which sent new waves of pain that made me bite my lip until I tasted blood. I grabbed my wallet and phone with my good hand and went down the stairs right when the doorbell started ringing with the first guests. My mother was in the dining room arranging a charcuterie board and did not even see me leaving through the front door, where Kira and her mom were waiting in the car with the engine running. Mrs. Chen saw my arm and went pale. She started to say something but just shook her head and told me to get in. She took me straight to the emergency room. The ear doctor took one look at my arm and immediately ordered x-rays, her face getting more and more concerned as she carefully undid the bandage my parents had put on. How long ago did this happen? She was Filipino, about 40 years old, kind eyes that kept going from my face to my arm. About 3 hours. I fell off my bike. She wrote something on the clipboard, and I saw her jaw tighten. And you are only getting here now. Who bandaged this arm? I did not want to lie, but I also did not want to get my parents in trouble. So I just said that my parents had bandaged it and thought it was a sprain. The doctor looked at Kira's mom, and something passed between them, an adult understanding that made me even more scared. This is a complete fracture of both bones in the forearm. It needed immediate care. Just the swelling could have caused permanent damage. She continued undoing the bandage more carefully, her hands gentle but her voice harder. Your parents saw the injury before bandaging it. Kira spoke before I could think of what to say. Her sister said it was not serious enough for the hospital. Her parents always ask her sister before taking her to the doctor. The doctor stopped undoing the bandage and looked directly at me with an intensity that made me want to cry. Your sister, who is not a healthcare professional, your sister decides these things. I nodded, and she immediately grabbed her phone and went out to make a call while a nurse came in to finish removing the bandage. Mrs. Chen squeezed my good shoulder and said I had done the right thing coming there, that my parents were wrong to leave me suffering for hours. The x-rays confirmed what the doctor already suspected. Both bones in my forearm were completely broken, and the way they had bandaged it ended up making everything worse, because it squeezed the fractured parts too tight. I needed surgery to put the bones in the right place, because those 3 hours of waiting left everything misaligned and swollen to the point that a simple cast would not work anymore. They admitted me right away and scheduled the operation for that same night, and it was